Hey, it's October 8, 2017, 72 degrees Fahrenheit out, time's about 11:48. Sarah and I are going to stop at the Maribell Caves Hotel, which me and Rachel stumbled across accidentally last week during a detour. And this place has a history with a lot of folklore and stuff. When we get there, I'm going to do a quick intro and then I'm going to get into the woo-woo part of it. But it's a pretty cool looking place. Hey, so here it is, the Maribell Caves Hotel, built in 1900. It is locally called Hotel Hell for has a lot of folklore attached to it. But what we do know for sure is this was built in the year 1900 by an Austrian immigrant named Charles Steinbrecher, and he picked this location for a couple reasons. There was a natural spring here. Whether or not it still flows, I don't know. I doubt it, because there's a lot of farms around here and they probably use the local groundwater. So, but he wanted a medieval, like, European looking thing here, so he built this. And there's some parts. This is all that presently stands. Now I'm going to get into the folklore here in a second, but I just want to tell you what we know for sure. It's had a couple of owners in that time. It has burned down twice. And in 2013, this was a lot more intact. There were tornadoes in the area, although no tornadoes actually hit this. The winds were high enough to knock a huge chunk of it over. So that's about what we know for sure. There's a lot of rumors that Al Capone stayed here and stuff like that. But now to get into the folklore. Okay, with a building like this, it's no doubt some folklore is going to come about throughout its history. I mean, the building itself hasn't been utilized since 1985. There was a fire after after Mr. Miller purchased it in 81. In 1985, there was a fire. I see lots of sources that saying that the hotel burnt not once but twice, maybe even 3 times. Well, we know in 1985 it did, and all on the same date. But I can't even find a source that tell me what that date is, let alone you know, how many times that it's happened. And when you see something like this, especially in the American Midwest, you're just driving down and all you see is grass field, and then boom, this castle looking thing. Of course, a bunch of weird stuff is going to come out about it. And I mean, since its final closure in 1985, it was operating as a bar for a while towards the end there. It doesn't take long for, I mean, stuff to just become so out of whack with what it was actually used for and what actually took place. When something just is stagnant for so long and just on the landscape that no one touches, because it's private property, you can't go in there. These pictures that Sarah took are all from the road with the zoom lens, so it's no wonder that weird stories have come about. But the Herald Times media asked Susan Cornley in 2002. I guess her husband Richard was the grandson of the original owner, Steinbrecher. Apparently he told her that the only ghost he ever saw was his grandfather walking around in his one-piece nightshirt. Not only are there ghost stories, but there's stories, if you look at the Maribell Caves Hotel Hell, because that's what a lot of the locals like to call it, on the website Wisconsin Sickness. I'm not going to link to any stuff. You guys can Google this if you want. All you got to do is Google Maribell Caves Hotel and all this stuff comes right up. You know, it was rumored to be Capone to have used it, and Dillinger, and all sorts of stuff. There's even rumors of witches opening a portal to hell where the springs were. And I looked into it a little more. Apparently the springs do not flow anymore. They actually used to pump it up from down lower. The park is located just to the southeast, and the original springs do still flow, but at a much lower level. Alright, so before I wrap it up here, I'm just going to show you some pictures of the hotel. If I know the source, I'm going to include it, but I've seen a lot of pictures. I want to include pictures of it back in the day, these old black and white pictures, and I'm going to do that, and they appear on several websites. but they're never sourced. I can't tell if these pictures are 1920, 1910, 1945. I have no idea. No one sourced. I don't know what happened to journalism since I was a kid, but apparently people no longer source photographs. But anyway, I just wanted to give you that because this is just a little tidbit on this because it was just striking. I mean, we were in awe when we stumbled across it. We had no idea this place existed, and we are on a detour, and boom, there it is. And it's just like, wow. There are some pictures. I mean, the place that the winds in 2013 did do a big toll on it, and at the beginning of this video, you see the aerials. I have one from 2011 and one from 2016 for comparison. And it's just a shame. I mean, but, buildings fall. You don't maintain them, and, no one's there to care, really. I mean, it's still owned privately, but it's going to fall down. Nothing lasts forever. I mean, it's a building, despite all the bizarre woo-woo stuff that supposedly happens there. Oh, yeah, and there's also supposedly stuff like children were killed, or somebody went crazy one night, murdered everyone in the hotel. But that stuff aside, it's a building and it's going to fall. So unless it's actually protected and preserved, it's just a matter of time before it becomes a pile of rocks. But anyway, that's it. If you want to Google it, go ahead. Oh, I am going to link below to one cool video I found on YouTube of this. It's of a drone footage of up in the air, and it's pretty sweet. So that's it, and I hope you enjoyed that.